when they fill it out. When they fill it out. So the officer certification form lets the district have the directory of all the officers in the district. And Karen just posted the link to officer certification forms if you guys were wondering about them.
And if you ever worry about where to find it, you can see it, or you will find it linked to our website, which is swdkeyclub.org.
Yes. And then, like I was talking about the membership update center, this is for international to have their directory of all the different officers. So we also need them to fill this out. So not only, so the international has track of everything. And they are closing for service August 14th through September 7th. And then after that, it'll be opening back up. But the three main functions on Portal Buzz for the membership update center is to create a roster, an invoice to pay dues. That's where I want to emphasize that membership update center allows the key clubbers to pay their dues, and that's where they will be paying their dues this year, like last year as well. So, and then it also gives you monthly reports. I think it gives the international monthly reports, if I'm correct, Karen.
That's correct. And it is also where ultimately the advisor training will be linked.
Yes. And lastly is about dues. So this year, the dues are still $12. The $7 goes to Key Club International, and then $5 goes to the district. And then dues help cover support, whether that may be supporting a lieutenant governor or whoever may be to attend a event or a project. It just helps with supporting whatever that cause is. And then programs that we participate in or create, and then board expenses like winter board, summer board, unless, or if we're like Zoom, trying to get a Zoom membership also costs money, so board expenses, and then the leadership conferences throughout the year. And then critical dates this year, the early bird due is November 1st, and then dues where they have to pay it is by December 1st, and then if they do not pay dues, their club will be suspended on February 1st.
And I would just chime in, Layla. Key Club International was very understanding about challenges with paying dues during COVID last year. So if any of you are experiencing the same type of challenges, and in our breakout rooms, we're going to talk about COVID challenges not quite being done yet. But if you are having those, just let Key Club International know. Member services at Kiwanis.org is fantastic. They're very responsive. They'll make sure that your message gets to the right person, or you're always welcome to reach out to me.
Yes, but that is all I had to talk about and present, but thank you so much for letting me speak.
Thank you, Governor Layla. And next up, we have our wonderful Bulletin editor, Shaden Russo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shane, and I'm the Bulletin editor. So I'm going to go over a quick little update of some of the things that I've been doing so far in my term. So the first thing is the website. And so far what I've done is I've updated the admin and also the new board members to their new introductions and new photos. And I've also updated the committee page. So now you can get in
lives up in the cabin.
You can get in contact with the new chairs, and also you can see who the people in the committee are, because I added pictures, because who doesn't love pictures? I love pictures. And also with that, I added a slide for fall rally. So now registration for fall rally is open. So that's fun. So that's just a little bit with the website. And next, moving on to social media, what I've done so far is just in my term, I've already posted over 22 Instagram posts. And if you add up all the slides, that's over 50 slides. So I'm posting a lot on the Instagram, make sure it's active and, everyone's involved with it if possible. And yeah, and so far right now on the social media, for all you guys who have not seen it, but right now for the Kiwanis Families Relations, we're doing Professionalism Fluent. We're posting on Instagram. So, you want to check that out. And also another social media that I run and something I really wanted to do in my term was make an official Discord server. And I can say that in June, it is up and it's up and running. And so now we have the official Discord, Southwest Discord. So if your clubs want to, look at that, and I think it's really important to look at it because, it has many amazing features that definitely you should utilize if you can. And then next, finally, is the Key to the Southwest. So I'm happy to say that on August 31st, the first publication of my term will be on August 31st. So be on the lookout for that, and everything's going smoothly, and so everything should be up to date. And also, yeah, we have Facebook too, and I believe we have a Twitter, but I don't think we're keeping that up. I don't know about that one. And yeah, and also we have our YouTube that we're starting to, try to promote and make it more up to date. So be on the lookout for that. I know we're probably going to be posting a video soon on there. So that's another fun thing. And I know there's multiple accounts for the YouTube, but we're trying to get it to one. So yeah, but that's just a little bit of a Bulletin Editor update. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Shaden. All right, so next up, we're going to move into an update on district events. Miss Cody Cragen is our district events committee chairperson. She couldn't join us tonight, but she did send a video message to share. So let me share that with you.
So for the events that'll be happening this year, we're planning to return to in-person, and therefore we're planning for those in-person events to follow CDC protocols. For Decon specifically, we are also planning to have some virtual component to allow maximum participation on top of the main in-person aspect already present. So for the calendar of district events that'll be happening this year, first up will be the Officer Training Conference, which will be happening virtually next month in September. The exact date for that hasn't been finalized yet, but the Officer Training Conference is an event for new club officers to learn about and get training for their new positions so they can best lead their clubs. After that will be the Spooktacular, which is happening on October 30th, and it's going to be virtual. The Spooktacular is basically a half-day event with workshops and a couple of social sessions that general key clubbers can participate in. After that will be the Camp Fall Rally, which is happening from November 5th to 7th in person at Prescott, Arizona. The Camp Fall Rally is a weekend-long leadership camp sponsored by Kiwanis that provides members with fun opportunities to learn and meet new people. Next will be Key Leader, which will be happening from February 19th to 21st of next year in person at Camp Kiwanis, New Mexico. Key Leader is another program put on by Kiwanis to help high schoolers develop leadership skills, emotional skills, and help them build a sense of community. It's another fun weekend-long program focused on learning about leadership, problem solving, and teamwork. Then our district convention, Decon, will be happening from April 1st to 3rd in Phoenix, Arizona, in person. For a refresher, Decon is our convention where we'll be holding workshops and social sessions along with having speakers and contests, and this is where the new board will be elected. As I mentioned earlier, for this year, we hope to have some sort of virtual aspect to allow as many members to participate as possible. And finally, the International Convention Tour will be from July 4th to the 10th in person in Washington, D.C. This event is basically attached to ICON, so for those participating in ICON, there will also be a few days where those of us in the Southwest District can have some fun and tour around the city.
So thank you from a distance to Cody. And then our last update from the district board is going to be provided by Jack Miller, who is our Kiwanis Family Relations chairperson. And Jack is going to share some resources, give you a list of different resources that can help you as an advisor and help your officer team and students. So Jack, take it away.
Thank you, Karen. Yes, hello, everybody. I hope you're having a great evening. We'll get right into this. So as far as resources that you guys have for your disposal, essentially, we have a couple of things that are prepared by the district. We have the Membership Growth and Retention booklet, and that is created by our Membership Growth and Retention Committee. That was created last year, and I will put the link to that in the chat after this. And that just has a lot of great tips on, as the name would suggest, growing your membership and retaining it. So yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory there. Next up, we have the Returning from COVID guide. So this will be a new guide that is coming out in September, from what I understand. And yeah, so just be on the lookout for that. That one is not yet released. Now, as far as things that aren't just booklets and guides, we have your lieutenant governor. These people are specifically trained to help you with whatever you need. And if they do not know personally the answer to your question or to your situation, they will find the answer. So, I mean, we cannot stress enough that we definitely recommend you reaching out to them with anything that you can think of that you possibly need help with. Next up, we have monthly newsletters. These are created by your lieutenant governors, and these just contain a lot of great information on upcoming events, any resources that we have created as a district, and yeah, it just has tons of great info that will help you and your club to thrive and to just stay updated. And then lastly, well, not lastly, we have our council meetings, our presidential council meetings, PCMs, and our divisional council meetings, DCMs. So the PCMs, these are primarily with our club presidents, though advisors are also very welcome to attend. In fact, we recommend it. There's a lot of very vital information that is discussed in those meetings. So yeah, if you have not been extended an invitation to any yet, I would talk to your club president or your lieutenant governor. Yeah, those are great calls to be on. And then next we have our divisional council meetings. These are not only with the presidents and advisors, this is for the entire division, as the name would suggest. And these also will have a lot of great social events, sometimes service events. They really vary in style. So again, great thing to be on. There's a lot of information, and yeah. Lastly, we have our zone administrators and then district admins. So all divisions have zone administrator, and obviously we have our district admins, Karen Church and Stephanie Whitaker. So if you do not know your zone administrator, I would recommend reaching out to your lieutenant governor. And then if you don't have the contact for Karen or Steph, that is another thing that you can go to them for, though it should be on the website. All of those contacts from what I know. Yeah, that's what I have.
Thank you, Jack. And yes, absolutely. All of the contact information for your lieutenant governors, even if you don't know who your lieutenant governor is, there is a club directory so you can figure out your division and track down your lieutenant governor. And then all of the administrator contact information is also on the website. So if you're not sure how to get a hold of the correct adult, you can either reach out to your lieutenant governor or reach out to me, or just reach out to anybody on the admin team and they'll get you to the right place. So I would like to I'd like to thank all of our wonderful student members of the district board for giving their updates. We're going to move into some small group roundtable discussions. So I'm going to be opening up some breakout rooms. And in each of the breakout rooms, we have a member of the Southwest District admin team who's going to facilitate an open discussion with you on a couple of issues that are shared on the slide. We're going to have 20 minutes. If you guys finish up and want to talk about something else, feel free to do so. If you feel there are more urgent things to talk about, feel free to do that too. And then after 20 minutes, we're going to close the breakout rooms. We're all going to regather here in the general session where we'll go over a couple other items to discuss. And then we're going to finish up with kind of open mic, where if anybody has any questions, they're welcome to ask him. So at this point in time, I'm going to open your breakout rooms. And students, are you ready with your Google Doc to take your notes? I'm going to have the students take notes of the conversation so that we can share with the other advisors who couldn't make it tonight. All right, so your breakout rooms are opening. Enjoy the conversation. All of you are muted, so make sure you unmute when you get in your breakout room. All right, have a good talk. All right. Along with the recording of most of the meeting, not the part I forgot to record, but most of it, so that you can review and see if maybe any of the breakout rooms discussed issues that were different or had solutions that were different than what you guys talked about.
Cool.
Now we're going to move into, for me, what is the most important discussion, which is you guys. And for the students that are on the board listening in, plug your ears. Although you guys have heard me say this, Key Club does not function without the advisors. You guys are the continuity that keeps Key Club going from year to year, and it just couldn't exist without you. So it's really important for me as a district administrator, but also all of the Kiwanis advisors that are on this call will be nodding their heads. It's really important for us as Kiwanians to understand what gives value and satisfaction for those of you who are faculty advisors. What made you do the role? What made you say yes when the position was offered to you? And what can we do to make sure that you continue to be satisfied in performing the role? And any tips you might have for recruiting, because it's been a tough going on 18 months for advisor turnover. So we have a lot of Key Clubs that don't have advisors. So any tips you can share with how we go about recruiting new advisors, and including in that process, I want to talk about recruitment, satisfaction, and if there's any additional training or support that you feel would be beneficial for your jobs. So let's just open the floor up for a discussion. Candy, I see your hand.
Yeah, one of the things that happened to me in Tombstone, when our faculty advisor decided that she didn't want to be an advisor anymore, she informed me that she was disbanding the Key Club. And I said, what? You can't do that. So it just so happens that some of the kids reached out because they recognized me being at the school. And Don Townsend can tell you that we went with them to a teachers meeting where all the teachers were together, and we allowed the kids to go in there and present why they needed a faculty advisor. And by the time it was all said and done, no matter what Don and I could say, we were just the adults, we're just the Kiwanians, but it was the kids that actually recruited the faculty advisors. And I ended up with two very energetic advisors that work in tandem. So if one can't do it, the other one can't. So we got two teachers involved. And like today, I couldn't make it because I had a family situation. And I was able to get a hold of my advisor and say, can we, I'm not going to be there, but she was going to keep the meeting going today. So it was a big relief for sure, because once the teacher had said, oh, we're dismantling it, I'm saying, wait a minute. It took a lot of work to get this going. What do you mean? And she had only been an advisor for a couple of years. I don't think she understood. She didn't understand the concept of what we were doing with Key Club. So it just overwhelmed her. But luckily I ended up with two younger teachers that kind of understood where we were coming from and stuff. So since then, those two students have graduated from Tombstone, and we were welcomed back this year with open arms by the principal and the two advisors again. And they even let me come to open house this time. So I love it. So anyways, that's my story.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing, Candy. And you hit on kind of one of, I don't think it's a secret. I think we all know this, that if we want something accomplished, we send the kids. So, and he had to leave because he had to do his studying. But for those of you who were in the breakout group with Trey Jones, Trey is our petroglyph lieutenant governor, and he's in the process of forming a number of new clubs up in the Four Corners area. And that was the very first thing we discussed when he said he wanted to charter, is like, they want to hear from you they don't want to hear from me. And he had tremendous success with that. So that's wonderful. Anyone else want to share, maybe some of you faculty advisors, how did you get,
yeah, Karen, I mean, we give them stipends. We give our faculty advisor, if they have to travel with us as chaperones, they get $1,000 from our Kiwanis Club.
Can I work for your club?
Yes, you can, Mel. And for anybody that doesn't know, that's my dad. and my former Key Club Kiwanis advisor. So yes, Mel, you can come move to Los Alamos. Love to have you.
You bet.
So Mindy, I see you have a comment.
So I think that just timing is everything with teachers, it's everybody's busy, aren't we all? We're all busy. But if you don't have an advisor, I mean, maybe the Kiwanis Club could come in and pitch to the faculty. But nowadays, I mean, the colleges are all looking for those kids to have community service on their resumes. And so, I mean, I think that's our biggest selling point is that's what we do. We do community service. We're here to help others. And we advertise that like crazy. The principals involved and advertises it at back to school that, just get involved with Key Club. You'll get all your community service hours you need. So I think that's what helps keep us fed into the, with all the kids coming in. Because we don't have trouble with membership at ours. So you got to get somebody on board with you though.
That's terrific. Thanks for sharing that.
It's my understanding that they need not be a quote unquote faculty person. They could be the secretary of something else as long as they have the school's blessing.
Well, we have a perfect example of that with Miss Crystal, who is a counselor, correct? Yeah. So don't remember, for those of you who are the Kiwanians in the group, if you're looking for faculty advisors, don't limit yourself to in-classroom teachers, because there are a lot of people that work in the schools who might be more interested in getting that closer relationship with students. Nilda, I see you have a comment.
You're absolutely on task with that. Our faculty advisor is the school counselor. He knows the kids, and he knows them by name. And when we're talking about dozens and dozens of kids, he knows their background. He knows a lot of information, helps with recruitment and helping engage students because of his background at the school. So faculty advisor, amazing and awesome. I wanted to make a comment about what Candy said. We don't want to lose our advisors once they start. And it's so important that I think keeping them taken care of. I know a big part of it is that we want to cover all their expenses as much as possible regarding those conventions and everything. So we do set aside a budget for that. But we also want to keep them taken care of in the fact that if we don't want them to get overwhelmed, we want to make sure that they're understanding that we're here to support them, that Kiwanis Southwest District is there to support them as well. And just if hand-holding is what they need to be able to get through the year, let's do it. These are people that are really supporting. Our faculty advisor, after so many years being the advisor for the school, he is now the president of our local Kiwanis Club that was opened a couple of years ago. They're still building, but he's still engaged as the president of that club. So, hey, we got them going.
That's awesome. And, I would say, not every Kiwanis Club is going to be in a financial position to fully cover advisor expenses. That's just the nature of Kiwanis, is We have some clubs that are really big into fundraising and have very deep pockets. And we have some other clubs that are really focused on hands-on stuff, and maybe their treasury isn't quite as fluid. But they still want to support you, and they still should support their advisors. You know, maybe they invite them to participate in fundraisers so that they can have a bigger share of the take from a fundraiser. So there's still ways to get that support across. It might just take a little bit more interaction than just writing a check. But you know, that's one of the rules of a sponsoring Kiwanis Club, is to make sure there's at least a budget line items for the support of the key clubs. How much they can support, that's up to, you know, what their treasury.
I have a question.
Absolutely, Carol.
Somebody had mentioned, and I think it's brilliant, to see if there are college students who are looking to be able to help out with the key clubs. My question though is, what do we do about making sure about, you know, I'm sure faculty members, whether they are counselors or if they are administrative staff in the school, they probably have all had security checks, background checks. But when we're talking about the possibility of having college students come in, how do we handle that?
Yeah, well, we're actually gonna talk about youth protection real quick. And in fact, I'm looking at the time and I'm seeing that we've passed the hour mark. So I'm gonna move on to our next subject, which is say cheese. We're gonna talk for a minute about photo releases and social media best practices. And then we're gonna move into that youth protection, Carol. So I'll hit on that, you know, kind of what's expected when we get to that. But certainly at the district level, and those of you who have attended district convention, international convention, you know that those events always have a photo release element. There is a Kiwanis photo release form. It is available on the Southwest District Key Club website, which is swdkeyclub.org, under the advisor support page, which is under resources. It's brand new today. We have this very infant library of forms, but the COVID release form is there and the photo release form is there. If your school does not have a photo release for extracurriculars, you may just want to include this photo release as part of your general membership package. That way you have it. You don't have to worry about doing it on, you know, each event that you go out to, because we know, I suspect at least when you guys were talking about recruiting members, one of the big ways that students are sharing is visual now. You know, social media is huge, Instagram is huge, and you don't get that without the photos. So making sure that you are getting permission to take pictures of your students. If you have students where they have declined having pictures taken, make sure that you know, and make sure that your webmaster or your social media managers understand that these students shouldn't be included in any pictures. And for the Kiwanis advisors in the group, to the extent that you're at an event and taking pictures, you always want to ask permission. You always want to let them know that it's going on social media and get an assent. If they are young, you know, so for key clubbers, even though technically they should be 18 to give consent, for the most part, high school students are competent to say, yes, I'm okay being on social media. They know what their parents want and what their parents don't want. But if you're dealing with little ones, maybe it's a key club event like Breakfast with Santa, and so there's little kids there, you really have to be careful about making sure that you get parental consent for those little ones, or take pictures from the back so that the faces aren't shown. We really want to make sure that we're using those child protective practices. Anybody's club have things that they do special dealing with photos and social media that you want to share?
I just know we've been giving out the photo release form with our membership application. We just are doing that already. So
I think that's a wise way to do it. You know, just get it done up front. And have you ever had anybody refuse? Yeah, I haven't either. And Crystal, you had a comment?
Sorry. We, a long time ago when we started a Facebook site, I don't allow tagging. So, and then we only post on there after we've been somewhere. And we don't say anything like we go every Tuesday at. I don't want any creepers knowing what we're doing, but also I just don't do the name tagging at all so that they'd have a harder time trying to track them throughout internet.
Excellent, excellent practices. And like, I tend to not mind if a student wants to tag themselves in a picture. I'm okay with that, but you know, I just, for general reasons, don't believe in tagging people. You know, let them decide if they want to be tagged. And you know, the whole not posting at live from an event, I think, is so important. You know, unless you are in a very secure setting, and it's not something that you repeat, you never know who's out there with an eye on a kid. So very good practices.
I'm gonna have to hang up.
I'm sorry, Kim, go ahead.
I'm gonna have to hang up, but I had a question about the oh my gosh, what was that? The overnight, like the chaperone thing.
Let's move on to the next slide, and we'll start with the bottom so that you can hear it and then go on.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's all right. That's all right. So this is actually a policy change that went into effect in January of 2020, but we were not doing any overnights in 2020. So for many, this seems like it's a new policy, but it's been around for a year now. And the policy can most effectively be summarized as saying any adult that is participating in an overnight event with Key Clubbers needs to complete the Kiwanis International background screen. So if you as a faculty advisor are going to district convention or Camp Fall Rally or international convention, even though you have your school's background, you still need to complete the Kiwanis International background. If a parent is going as a chaperone to one of those events, they need to get the Kiwanis International background. And the theory is, you know, for many of you, I suspect you're all at public school. Well, Mel's not at a public school, it's charter school, but most schools have fairly high standards for background checks on teachers. We all know that, we understand that. In fact, the background check that most of you teachers and school employees have taken is superior to the background check that you will get with Kiwanis International. You've probably been fingerprinted and had, you know, some extensive FBI research done and that type of stuff. The problem is that Key Club International is dealing with thousands of school districts, and they don't know what each school district is doing with their faculty advisor or with their faculty. So they don't know what the screening process is for all of those schools. We have little tiny private schools and we have huge 5,000 student public schools. And the requirements for background checks at those are going to be different. And the world of background checks has not progressed to the point where I hope it gets to someday, where you have like a class A background check. And that's your fingerprinting and your FBI search. And, you know, Kiwanis could say, anybody that has a class A background check, you're good. You don't need to get our screen. The world's not at that point yet. So what Kiwanis is trying to do is it's trying to ensure that every adult that has overnight contact with a kid has at least the Kiwanis base background check. And so to do that, it means that all adults even those of you who are faculty advisors and have the far superior background check, you still need to complete the Kiwanis one. And so in my world, and I'm speaking, you know, I'm speaking for Kiwanis clubs who maybe aren't going to like this. Your Kiwanis club should pay for that, as far as I'm concerned. And I think most Kiwanis clubs would agree that they should pay for that. When you need it, you know, if you are just doing service with your club and you're not going to Camp Fall Rally, you're not taking kids to Key Leader, you're not going to district convention or icon, you don't need to worry about it. You're good with whatever check your school has. But if you are doing an overnight to one of those events or some other Key Club overnight event, you will want to reach out to your Kiwanis club, say, hey, they changed this policy, we'd like to get in compliance now, and they can order one up for you. The process, you know, all the Kiwanis advisors on here, we've already done it. You know, so most Kiwanis advisors on here, we've already done the Kiwanis background check, and we've already done our school's background check. So we've already double dipped, and you guys are now going to catch up with us. And the process for the Kiwanis one is much easier than the school one. So it really will be a matter of getting a link that you complete, a secure link that you complete. And like I said, your Kiwanis club should pay for it. If you're getting grief from your Kiwanis club about them paying for it, let me know, because I'm happy to have a conversation with your Kiwanis club. Does that answer your question, Kim?
Yeah, so we can't go, and I'm sure the other teachers understand this, we can't follow Kiwanis rules or Key Club rules for how many chaperones really need to be there. Like you guys, I think if I was looking at it right, allow less adults per students. So like just for me to be able to take 27 kids to the fall rally, just 27, I have to have 3 adults. So those are 3 adults that have to get paid for. That's just for fall rally. So then when we go to district convention or we do something else, it's not going to be those same teachers or the same chaperones all the time. So then that's going to be more, right? So either, I mean, I don't know if anyone else is running into that. It's kind of frustrating. So I'll have to go to my Kiwanis and say, hey, I need like 10 of these paid for. What if they don't have the money for that? Is there funds for someone else to pay for that? Or because the teachers at my school, they don't want to have to pay for it.
Right. And like I said, I don't feel like somebody who's chaperoning Key Club students to go to a Key Club event should have to pay for that.
Right.
If the Key Club has funds from fundraising, then that's one thing. But you know,
well, we pay for them to go. The chaperones and the advisors, the Key Club themselves pay for them all to go. It's just, we won't, do you know what I mean? So I didn't know where else we can get funds besides the Kiwanis, you know, our Kiwanis person. If you have.
Yeah, well, I think you have that discussion, and Kim, I think you have, and for everybody else on here, I think you have that discussion now, because Kiwanis clubs are working on putting their budgets together. The Kiwanis year starts on October 1st. And so through September, Kiwanis clubs are finalizing their budgets. So if you are a Key Club that typically goes to Camp Fall Rally, or typically goes to Key Leader, or typically goes to Decon, reach out to your Kiwanis club and let them know, hey, there was this policy change. The adults that I take with me are going to need to get the Key Club background check. Is there a way that we can build that into your budget?
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah, and you answered the other one about I wanted to find out if we were able to just upload our Kiwanis, our fingerprint clearance card.
Someday, I hope. You know, as more and more organizations are doing these background checks, it would be wonderful to get to that point where you just had standards. And if you met one standard, you were good, but we're not there yet. So Candy, I saw you had your hand up, and then we'll go to Crystal.
Yeah, it's just a quick question. If we do decide to sponsor our advisor for the $25 fee, as a secretary of my club, do I send them an email with, how do we do that? Because usually a Kiwanis member has to be sent the form through the secretary in order for that person's ID number to be accepted in the system? How do we sign up a teacher? Do they?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And it's going to be an email to youthprotection@kiwanis.org explaining the situation, and they should be able to walk you through getting that background check ordered.
Okay, because I might just start doing that right now with my advisors to begin with.
Yeah,
That's right at the beginning of the year.
I suspect maybe not in our September newsletters, because oh my gosh, just wait till you see our September newsletters. Like set aside a week to read those. They're going to be long. So maybe in our October newsletter, I'll have an article in there about getting your background screen so that everybody can start that process to be ready for Camp Fall Rally and then moving into Decon season.
Thank you.
Crystal.
Governor Townsend,
Yes.
am I right in that a background check can come out of the SLP funds in the Kiwanis Club, just in case any of the Kiwanians were unaware of that?
Yeah, and also for Candy, you can that briefing that BK gave us during the virtual district convention has a number. You can call them directly and then see what their procedures are for the faculties, because BK told me to have the faculty advisors call them and they would get them set up with the check and stuff.
All right. I know some clubs are making their advisors Kiwanis members. Some clubs are actually paying for their advisors to become Kiwanis members.
And that's an excellent point, Crystal. Yes, you can use, for those of you who are maybe faculty advisors, Kiwanis clubs have a service account or a foundation that is strictly for charity and doing good works. And then they have an administrative account, which is really for the functioning of the club. And so what Crystal was pointing out is that the background checks for faculty advisors constitute a charitable expense that can come out of the service accounts or foundations, which is usually where most Kiwanis clubs will have more money than in their admin account. So thank you for reminding everybody of that. Anything else on background checks, Jerry?
Yeah, Karen, you want to go over the number of chaperones versus gender?
Yeah, sure. And so this has remained the same. We're looking for one female for up to 10 females and one male for up to 10 males. So if you have 5 females and 6 males, you need 1 female, 1 male chaperone.
I know in the past we've shared chaperones too, so that can help.
Absolutely. And you know, we're all a family. We all work together. For those of you who have been to a district convention, which I know we have some new folks some quarantine advisors, we'll call them, who maybe have not experienced the in-person part of Key Club yet. When you get to a district convention, pretty much all advisors are watching all the kids, but you can absolutely, and we do this a lot, specifically on our international tours where we have fewer adults going than we do at our district convention. But absolutely, you can share with another club. Anything else on background checks? So let me work in reverse order on this slide then. Presidium training. Those of you who are Kiwanis advisors need to make sure that you get your Presidium account updated. You'll remember it was a couple weeks ago, we got this random out of the blue, hey, sign on here email where all of us are like, I'm not signing on there. I have no idea who you are. So it was legitimate. They changed their platform. And so we needed to all go in and set up a new account. If you have not done that, or if you have trouble doing that, just email me and I can get you the Presidium contact so that you can do that. I haven't done the training yet, but I understand that it is what, like about 10 minutes, 20 minutes per
Yeah, we
video.
had a member already do it in our club and it was only 10 minutes long.
Yeah, yeah. So it's, you know, it's not something that you do as you're running out the door, but it's not going to take you an entire day to do.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So Carol, as a Kiwanis advisor for a Key Club, you have to complete the Kiwanis International background check, and you have to complete some online training modules. And have you ever accessed Portabuzz, which is the Kiwanis online system?
No.
Okay, so I'm going to email you so that you know how to access your Portabuzz. And I'll share the Presidium link with you because I'm not sure the training is linked with Portabuzz yet. So I'll share the Presidium link with you, and you just reach out to Presidium and explain that you're a Kiwanis advisor for a Key Club, and they'll get you set up with your training modules.
Okay.
Karen?
I also have never received any emails regarding this Presidium training.
Okay, and Ray, you're a new Kiwanis advisor too?
No, I'm a new faculty advisor.
Faculty advisors are different. So faculty advisors, there is a training that you need to do, which my understanding is when the Membership Update Center comes back online in September, there should be a training module attached to the Membership Update Center. And so you don't have to do kind of the complicated stuff that the Kiwanis advisors do. And you have fewer modules that you have to watch, because we are taking the assumption that as an educator, you have been through plenty of youth protection screenings before us.
Karen,
Yes.
is that Presidium training strictly for Key Club, or is that for all?
It's for all of our SLP advisors.
Okay, I just wanted to double check because I have to share this with my club for Youth Protection Week.
Yes. Yeah. And thanks for saying that, Candy, because I am so Key Club centric that I forget, especially with our Kiwanis advisors on here. Many of you work with multiple service leadership programs, and it applies to all of them. And then continuing, working upstream, our rule of 3 is under youth protection, you always want to make sure that you're never one-on-one with a student. You know, those of you who are educators already understand. Those of us who are in Kiwanis, grab a friend, ideally grab another adult. If no other adults are necessary, grab another kid, bring them in. There may be some circumstances where you cannot comply with the rule of 3. So you need to find another way to protect against, you know, not just true abuse of a student, but a perception or the possibility of a student arguing or making a false claim. So, and the rule of 3 applies also to communications. So emails, texts, you know, any way that there's private communication in person or through electronic medium, there's a vulnerability there. And so we as adults want to make sure that we mitigate that. And so, you know, the zone administrators on here understand that I say, just throw me on the email. You will not believe the amount of emails that I get in a week because I'm copied on everything, because they're communicating with the students that they work with. And you know, I'm there just to keep that 3. So develop some system like that. Maybe maybe it's your Kiwanis Club secretary, or maybe it's a buddy from Kiwanis who's willing to be copied on everything. Any questions about our 5-minute youth protection? And youth protection is a really big deal. So all of us have to complete more thorough youth protection. This meeting was not intended to be a youth protection meeting. But since we had you, we wanted to go over some things. And some of you had asked questions in your registration for tonight about those youth protection items. So that's why I wanted to bring it up here. And I'm sorry, I really tried to keep it under 60 minutes and I failed miserably. So I apologize for that, but I will open the mic at this point. If anybody has questions that weren't answered in any of the discussions, please, this is your opportunity to ask. Those of you who are new, you know, this is a great opportunity. If you are too shy, know that everybody on this group is like tremendously supportive, so don't worry about that. But if you still feels too shy, you're always welcome to reach out to me privately. I'll put my email in the chat so you have that, although you guys have been getting emails from me. And I did see the email. Who was it? Ray? Was it you? I agree, we get way too many emails, and I apologize about that. I try to keep the emails that I send to a minimum. You know, so you as faculty advisors will probably hear from me maybe quarterly, maybe a couple times a quarter. Key Club International is bad. Kiwanis International is bad. They send you lots of emails, and my suggestion is don't unsubscribe. Just delete them and go on about your day, because if you unsubscribe, you're going to miss important information. And so I know they can be annoying. I know that we don't all need to rent a car, but you know, just press delete and move on with your day. And I do try to keep my communications to a minimum. You lieutenant governors are also trying to be respectful of your time. They will absolutely be emailing you on the first of the month with their newsletters, and then in communication as they have events like the President's Council meeting, the Division Council meeting that Jack had told us about. But we really try not to spam people. So we apologize, but yeah, there's a lot of email lists at Kiwanis.
I have a question.
Yes.
The faculty advisor for my Key Club was not a part of the meeting tonight. Is there some way that I can get all of this to her?
Absolutely. So I recorded most of it. I missed Layla's presentation as president, so I apologize on that. But I am going to put this recording on our YouTube, and I am going to share a link with everybody who registered tonight. So if you have a counterpart that wasn't able to attend, you're absolutely welcome to share that. I will probably also post a link to our advisor support page so that you guys can see it there. And in addition to that, we have our notes pages that the students were compiling for you. So we'll also share those.
Great, thanks.
Any other questions?
Karen, can you put the link for that Presidium in the chat?
Maybe. Let me see if I can find it.
Please, pretty please.
If I can't readily find it, I will get it to you.
Okay.
I think you go to Kiwanis.org and you go into member services, then you go down to youth protection, and it'll pop up and it'll actually have a link to that Presidium.
Okay, thanks.
Karen can't find it right this second.
Yeah, Debbie, sorry. I will dig up that information and I'll include it in my follow-up email.
Okay, thank you.
And so hopefully from Cody's video, I know it was a little quiet, but hopefully you guys were able to pick up. We are jumping in back in-person events. We're going to see how that goes. I know schools are off to a pretty rough start. You know, we had our first in-person board meeting in a year, and it went well. We took precautions, and it was great to have the kids back together. We're just gonna see how it goes. At this point in time, we don't have a contract for Decon. but we're working on it. We're working on the assumption that it's going to be 1 kid per bed, which means it may be pricey. But you know, I don't know that COVID's going to be gone by April. So we'll do what we need to do.
Where did you say it's going to be at? Is it in Chandler?
So it's not going to be in Chandler.
Phoenix.
It's going to be in Phoenix at the Sheraton Crescent, which is where we were supposed to have 2020 and where we were supposed to have 2021. And now it's going to be 2022. So if, for those of you who are familiar with Phoenix, it's kind of north central Phoenix. It's right across from Castles and Coasters, which is kind of fun. And so, like I said, we don't have a contract with them yet, so it's not 100% sure, but we had a verbal agreement that with the COVID cancellation that we'd return to them. So that's the plan. And then hopefully we'll get back to going somewhere else next year. For those of you who are new, in the Southwest District bylaws, we have a suggested rotation of where we have our district convention, which is our annual leadership conference at the district level, of something in Arizona, something in New Mexico the following year, and then back to Arizona, and then to El Paso. And so with COVID, we've just been, well, we haven't been having the conventions, of course, but it's just been, we're going to have it in Phoenix. We didn't have it. We're going to have it in Phoenix. So this year, fingers crossed, we're going to have it in Phoenix. All right, anything else? And I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. We must have answered all of your questions tonight. How wonderful is that?
Good job.
Well, so you guys know where to find me if you think of something or if you're too shy to ask. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to go check out the advisor support page, there are some resources linked there that the membership growth and retention booklet that was done last year. If you haven't read it yet, there's really good stuff in there. So if any of you are challenged by membership recruitment, take a look at that. It's linked on the advisor support page. There is a forum there. So if you are up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you have a question and you want to type it in there, I will get back to you when I get up in the morning. But you know, that's there. Please make use of it. The forms for the COVID release and the photo release are on that page too. So I'm trying to be more supportive because like I said, you guys are everything. Not everything. You guys are most. Don't listen to that, Layla. Look your ears, Layla. But we certainly could not do Key Club without you. So I don't want anybody feeling like they're not getting supported.
Thanks, Karen.
No, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Don, did you have a question?
No, I was going to tell Debbie, I already warned Presidium about you, so you probably have a hard time getting through.
He's blocked.
What was that?
I said, I've already warned Presidium about you, so you might have a tough time.
All right. Oh, Don. Are you coming to Albuquerque Saturday?
Yes, I'm leaving Friday. Yeah.
Watch out.
Are you going to be there?
I'm going to make a point to be there. I'll find
okay.
out where you're going to be.
Okay.
Well, thank you everybody for coming tonight. You know, I think we're going to try to do another of these later in the fall. And then, you know, perhaps another one as we get closer to district convention. We're talking about registration and all of that kind of stuff. But as always, as Jack said, our student lieutenant governors have been trained to support you. That is their job. So I know their students, don't hesitate to reach out to them, because if they don't know off the top of their head, they have fantastic people like Dawn and Betsy and Crystal and Jeff, who had to leave the call early, there to go for answers, and myself and Stephanie. So they can get you the information that you need. And if you need to come to one of the adults, come to one of the adults. That's what we're here for. So with that, Layla, did you wanna say any closing remarks, and then we'll send everybody off to enjoy their night?
I don't have much to say, but I just want to say thank you everyone for logging in and joining on. And it was really nice to talk to everyone for a bit, especially in the breakout room, and see everyone's faces. I haven't seen everyone in a while, so it was great to see everyone again.
All right. So thanks everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Karen.
Really appreciate everything that you do.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Karen.
Thank you.
Sorry I was late, Karen.
Oh, Candy, what are we gonna do with you?
My uncle had a stroke last night.
No.
Yesterday right after our Kiwanis meeting. But he came out of it. He stopped talking for about an hour. And so I stayed the night with him last night at the hospital. They weren't going to let me stay, but because he has Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
they wouldn't have been able to deal with him because he would have been in and out of bed, and I was there for him. So now my mom's there tonight. So I got home a little bit late, running errands and stuff. And then I said, oh my God,